Alright, welcome back everybody. Today we're going to be dissecting the Adidas Originals ad for In Plastic Waste Stan Smith Forever campaign. They've put together a pretty good ad here that weaves together a delicate balance of imagery, specific text painting. So like if I was to say the duck crossed the road, and then I'd have a visual of a duck crossing a road. That would be kind of what I'm looking at as far as text painting, enhancing what I'm saying with very specific visuals that are directly connected to it. Maybe I say something's hard and I'm pushing a rock up a hill or something like that. So yeah, imagery, emotion, invoking narrative, and text painting, and then narration. We're going to see how they put together a campaign here for ending plastic waste, so sustainability, and being green, and their Stan Smith Forever campaign, which is one of their products, and we'll get into that a little bit later. So let's continue the video here. We're off to a great start again with the imagery, heavy imagery of nature actually. It takes up most of the screen with that urban background.
They say every problem has a solution.
Okay, so we didn't have to go too far here, and we've got some more things to take a look at. We see a guy on a park bench here with Kermit the Frog, and we can hear that this is Kermit. A lot of greenery. We've got flowers. Overall, a nice, pretty park with possibly some water features in the background. All very nature heavy.
You might wonder, am I too small?
Ooh, oh, good place to pause here. So we saw what looked to be an individual picking up trash, and here we get to the close-up. Picking up trash in a park. Again, references to that ending plastic waste. And then we see, I paused it quite well, a brief shot of one of Adidas shoes. This is actually the Kermit the Frog tennis shoe. Stan Smith to Kermit the Frog tennis shoes. And it's got the green foam padding on the back of the shoe. Actually, let's go ahead and take a brief look at this shoe and what the Stan Smith shoe is, just for context while we're here. And I've paused it at the most opportune moment. So the Stan Smith shoe actually is Adidas' original shoe design they first came up with. It's named after Stan Smith currently, who was a former American tennis player. He was active and famous for as a tennis player between the 1960s and the 1980s. But what's interesting about the Stan Smith shoe here that we see is that it was actually launched in 1963 with tennis player Robert Hallier. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's a little before my time. Robert Hallier, we'll go with that. And he originally was the spokesperson for this shoe. However, he retired 2 years later, and Adidas was looking for another spokesperson to step into his shoes, pun intended. And Stan Smith is who they went with. And later, after Stan Smith became the spokesperson for this shoe, this particular design shoe by Adidas, it became one of the most influential sneaker sponsorships in all of history. This particular shoe design is pretty unique, actually, because it really doesn't have a lot of that Adidas core branding. particularly like the 3 stripes that is typically on most of their products. This one actually just has, it's just a simple leather shoe, which actually was the first of its kind. This is the first tennis shoe that was made for tennis players that was a leather shoe. Presumably before that they had been cloth or what have you, but this was a nice soft leather shoe. And again, instead of the 3 stripes, it just had some simple perforations right here that you can see in the video. Some simple perforations along the side, and then it had this foam padded back that was added to it, and this is kind of like the really great part for tennis players because it helped protect the Achilles tendon. And the original design of the shoe, the back was a nice deep green, just a standard green. This is this green that we see here for the Kermit 2 edition. Is Kermit the Frog there too as well? Is that it's more Kermit the Frog color green. But yeah, so, and then by 2009, the Stan Smith shoe, which there's a ton of different designs of Kermit, the Kermit shoe being one of them, actually had become one of the biggest selling tennis shoes ever. And yeah. That is the Stan Smith shoe. So anyway, for their Stan Smith campaign here, we are really trying to push this original shoe, this simple design. Let's carry on with the video. Now that we've taken a little closer look at that Stan Smith shoe.
To change this whole world? Am I the only one pitching in?
Oh, that was a good moment there. So we had Kermit the Frog, our narrator, saying, "Am I the only one pitching in?" And the gentleman stood up. So that was a nice little moment of text painting. Really helps to draw you into the story, and without it being too obnoxious and over the top.
Maybe someone needs to make the first move. Being green.
Okay, so if we go back a moment here.
Being green.
Yeah, so just some more shots of nature, tons and tons and tons and tons of green on the screen. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, this green with their And Plastic Waste campaign combined with their Stan Smith Forever campaign, it's actually quite clever because the Stan Smith shoe, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, did have that green padding on the back of the shoe. So we're really kind of tying in, you know, this In Plastic Waste conserve and eco-friendly, that's what I'm looking for, tied in really well together to the two.
Green isn't about what's easy. Sometimes it means trying the road less traveled.
Alright, so we've got a lot to unpack here in this last couple of seconds. This is a great place to stop. On the screen we see this young woman. She is skateboarding down a winding mountainous road, as we see here. She has a reusable shopping bag. She is using a carbon neutral means of travel on a winding mountain road, which is typically not an easy road to travel. So, and I said sometimes it means trying the road less traveled. And all of this is doing a really great job of weaving this narrative together of trying to do the right thing, being eco-conscious, and maybe it's not easy, but it's probably the right thing to do. And we're weaving that together very beautifully here with all these picturesque moments, subtle messaging, and then we can only presume that she's probably wearing the Stan Smith shoes here as well. So very subtle branding, and still nothing too obnoxious. They're not really beating you over the head with anything, not really being too obvious. And doing so in a way that's really kind of keeping the viewer drawn in. Let's continue.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Being green can...
Okay, so I don't think that moment really feels necessary. If they needed to cut something out of this video, that one probably could have gone. However, let's take a look at what this can probably be doing for this ad overall. So you've got this woman, and she's meditating in nature, wherever this might be, park, the woods, whatever. You see she's wearing a Yoda t-shirt, and we hear Yoda over the taking over the narration for a moment with a little clip from Star Wars. Obviously Yoda is green, so we're tying back into the green, but this one's not necessarily used as a natural tie-in to the color green in this ad campaign here. This one seems to be more of like a pop culture reference. So we're probably trying to bring in some of the older audience that grew up with Star Wars and with Yoda. But also, we do have this younger woman here. We can't really tell exactly how old she is, but she presumably wasn't around when the first Star Wars movies were around. But she's obviously a Star Wars fan. So we're bringing in the new Star Wars fans, old Star Wars fans, just a nice wide net here. And just kind of a fun little nod to this whole thing being green. Just to give it a moment of playfulness, and then casting a broader net as far as its viewership goes.
Being green can be something big that's just too hard to miss.
Okay, that was a cool little moment. So a couple shots of greenery, sunlight through the trees, and then here we see this young person again, and they are wearing Stan Smith shoes. Just as they are saying too hard to miss, the shoe is kicking back towards the camera, and we see a closer shot of her on this road less traveled with her carbon neutral means of travel and her reusable shopping bag.
Miss.
Alright, so this is a nice little flyby moment we're having here. This is a more urban environment, presumably. This could be anywhere, I suppose. And here we're seeing a little bit more tie into the Adidas branding overall, because this is presumably a more urban environment. But it still has a lot of those natural elements. You've got exposed rafters, you've got huge windows letting in tons of sunlight, natural wood floors, you've got plants everywhere. All very natural, bright, open space here. And then you have a person standing at this desk. Let's go ahead and continue the video.
Or even...
Groot, while he is technically not green, he is a tree, so it's green. And we have the Kermit too, Stan Smith in the background again.
doing the little things that end up making a big difference, too. If we all do our part...
Let's stop here. So, definitely an urban environment. We've seen quite a few different ethnicities cast so far. Definitely casting a nice wide net, marketing to that urban demographic, um, which Adidas tends to do. And the gentleman here is actually designing what is presumably a Stan Smith tennis shoe. Um, this is all a great tie-in.
We can make the world a better place, a greener place,
All right. Oh,
for the next person to walk in our shoes.
okay, so a couple things just happened here. We did see a lot of natural elements. So we had a moment there where we had a nice fly-in on the Stan Smith shoes. We've really been showing these shoes and pounding them home, but really not talking about them at all until this moment here. And then we saw a bunch of shots of more natural elements. We have sunlight dappling through the trees. We have this young woman with a sunflower that's like blooming. And just talking about things being a greener place and why do we want that for the next person to walk in our shoes? Well, what shoes would we want? I bet you it's going to be these Stan Smith shoes. And as a matter of fact, the young woman in the park actually raises her foot up towards the camera as the narrator, Kermit, says this. Another not so subtle form of text painting and really just trying to drive that point home. And I think this is done really cleverly. I think this is done in a way where we're really driving the point home without beating you over the head with it. We're not telling you, go out and buy these shoes. We're not telling you that, oh, you have to have them. You'll have more friends, more money, more sex, more whatever. We're really just trying to subtly nudge you to the shoe. Trying to grab a hold of your sense of optimism, making you feel good, how you can get back, and really just trying to like make you feel good and like safe and comfortable this whole time while giving you tons and tons of pops of these shoes, which is a nice little subliminal messaging there. So let's continue on. We don't have much left in this video.
Shoes. It's not easy being
Kermit.
green.
But nothing great ever is.
Great moment here. So, but nothing great ever is, and we're about to cut away here to the end of the video, but let's stop here. We see Kermit the Frog on that park bench that we saw earlier, and now we can see actually who is on that park bench. It is Stan Smith himself. He is still alive, and this is him all decked out in his Adidas apparel. So now we're really branding here heavily for the shoe. We've shown you the shoe quite a few times. We've kind of made you feel really good about ending plastic waste and being eco-conscious. But now we're really going to tie into the branding here on how you can buy our products and you can feel that way. So Stan Smith, the spokesperson for the shoe, we see here in a nice little shot is Nothing Great Ever Is. Great tennis player, great shoe, presumably. Kermit the Frog is actually wearing, presumably, an Adidas hoodie made specially for him, and he has his Kermit the Frog 2 Stan Smiths specifically made for him. And we see them again in this natural background. Great little tie-ins, great little moment here. Really just kind of to bring it all together. And let's continue on to the end of this video. Alright, so here is our Stan Smith shoe. We have shown you everything about the shoe. Now let's show you the shoe. This is what we really want you to purchase. It is our Stan Smith shoe with the green foam back here. Always iconic, now more sustainable. we're done making you feel good. Now we want you to go buy the product. We want you to know what we've been talking about this whole time. So we see the shoe spiraling in the middle of the screen here, with a link at the bottom to adidas.com/Stan Smith. Can't really tell what this logo is. Presumably it's a eco-friendly company, possibly that measures sustainability practices within businesses. So we really haven't told you what about this shoe specifically is eco-friendly, but we're really kind of captured your attention here. We've drawn you in, made you feel really good, shown you a bunch of shots of these shoes while you're feeling good about nature and everything, and then we tell you where to go to get this shoe. Stan Smith forever. Partner with Disney, because Kermit the Frog. So yeah, they did a pretty good job here, it feels like, casting a nice wide net for their demographic. They did a lot of branding in there with the urban elements, and really hitting home with the being green, the ending plastic waste, the being sustainable, being eco-conscious. They really drove it home and tied it together with this green Stan Smith shoe, which is his best-selling shoe. All in all, kind of feel like it leaves a nice palatable experience, and I feel good about this shoe. Will I personally go purchase it? Who knows? But I think that Adidas did a great job of putting together a campaign, again, that is subtle, yet really drives home the point that it's meant to drive home, and I feel like it reaches its intended audience. It was a wide net, but the net was also specific enough to really hit their normal demographics while, you know, getting the maybe some more of their outside demographics brought in as well. Maybe the older generation wanting to have that little bit of nostalgia. Your eco-friendly, your your eco-conscious individuals. Yeah, did a great job, and that is our breakdown of the Adidas Originals in Plastic Waste Stan Smith Forever campaign.